Now, we all know the property market booming right now, but there are still houses around for less than 100 grand, would you believe, if you know where to look.
Places like Toowoomba in Queensland, Broken Hill in New South Wales and Boulder in Western Australia all have multiple properties listed for less than 100 grand. But are the properties a genuine bargain or a case of buyer beware? Joining us now is property investor Steve Palise from Suburbanite. Morning to you. So you bought a cheap investment property that you say wasn't actually worth the hassle. How can you tell if a place is worth buying cheaply?
Well, firstly, you need to assess why you're buying that property. Is it for a family home investment or a holiday house? And with any investment, you want to make sure you've done adequate research. So that means following the fundamentals of property investing.
Okay, run us through those fundamentals. What are they? What do they mean?
Okay, firstly, you want to go back to basics. So having a long-term mindset of 10, 15, 20, even 25 years before you make any decision. And then you need to assess what the growth drivers are. So looking at the infrastructure in the area, the population growth, how's the economy there. I always want to follow that it's got a multi-industry economy. So you don't want to go buy in a mining town or a one-dimensional town, because if that industry fails, your investment's also going to fail.
So where do you get all the information? When you say do your research, where do you find out this information?
Yep, so there's a plethora of information now on the internet, so plenty of free websites. You can go on the census data to get some population data. You can look on council websites for any of the planning and infrastructure that's going in, or any of the real estate sites like realestate.com, Domain, Homely and things like that. Or you could even pay for some. There's CoreLogic, for instance, which has heaps of data.
Yeah, that's the big picture, trying to get in the right area. What are some other things to look at about the property directly, buying a cheap property?
So like I mentioned, you need different industries. So that means there's got to be employment in the area, so that way people can actually move to the location. If people aren't moving there, you're not going to get property growth out of it. So you need to really be mindful of that. Yeah,
access to tradies, it's the sort of tenants you're going to get. It's pretty complex. Being a landlord isn't that sexy, is it?
Yeah, exactly right. And it's got to be a livable area as well. If people don't want to live there, you're not going to get people flocking to the region.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Steve.